Hi everyone,
Hi
Matt
everyone,
from
Matt
Bachmann
from
Trains
Bachmann
here.
Trains here.
We are
We are
in the
in the
great
great
outdoors
outdoors
today
today
for
for
our
our
large
large
scale
scale
live
live
stream
stream
special.
special.
I'm
I'm
joined as
joined as
always
always
by
by
Tyler
Tyler
Haney.
Haney.
Hey, how's it going?
And
And
today
today
we
we
have
have
our
our
special
special
guest,
guest,
Ray
Ray
Buteau,
Buteau,
who
who you may know as
the
the
Bach
Bach
Man.
Man.
Welcome.
So,
So,
we
we
are
are
here
here
at
at
a
a
beautiful
beautiful
large
large
scale
scale
layout
layout
to
to
go
go
over a
over a
few
few
products.
products.
Now we're going to be
Now we're going
using
to
a
be
few
using a
different
few different
cameras,
cameras.
so
So
if at any
if at any
point you
point you
can't hear
can't
what
hear
we're
what we're
saying,
saying,
definitely let
definitely
us
let
know
us
in the
know in the
comments and we'll
comments and
try
we'll
and
try and
figure it
figure it
out.
out.
For now, I'm going to
I'm
pass
going to
you over
pass you over
to
to
Ray,
Ray,
who Ray,
Ray,
you
you
recently
recently
came
came
back
back
from
from
the
the
Northeast
Northeast
Large
Large
Scale show. Is
Scale
that
show.
right?
Is that right?
That's correct. We had our second Northeast Large Scale show a week ago, I guess, and it was a great success. Um, you're taking a picture of my stomach.
No, I'm looking up this GP40 over here, which we're going to be showing off
Well,
for you folks.
the large scale show was run by the Amherst Railway Society, who runs the famous January Railroad Hobby Show, the biggest show in the country. So you know that John Sacerdoti runs a great show. Last year he put the show together in about 6 weeks. This year we more than doubled the attendance. We filled up the entire Young building at the Big E, the East Coast in West Springfield, and it was a great show. It moved from Friday, Saturday to Saturday, Sunday, and that was because up there they wanted it Saturday, Sunday, and we had great attendance. In fact, on Saturday before lunch, we doubled the previous year's attendance, and so we had over 3,000 people, which is great for a second show. We went from 60 contracts to over 100 contracts. Next year, the show will move 1 week, so it will be in May, and we'll have the biggest building, the Better Living Center, and we will fill that as well. I'm quite confident. So it was a tremendous show. Everybody had a great time. The New Hampshire Garden Railway Club had their layout. It was huge. The Kingston Model Railroad Club, the Central Connecticut Club, USA Trains was there. Of course, we were there. Pico had a small exhibit. The big train operators were there. So it had everything you wanted, and people were really loving it, and you could find virtually anything that you wanted to find. So look for us again next year. 2 years hence, we will be having the Garden Railway National Convention. That will move a little bit into June, and so there won't be a Northeast show in 2026. There will be a national convention. But it was a great time, and we should all thank the Amherst Railway Society for putting on a great show.
That's awesome. So, in addition to shows, of course, we have some pretty new exciting products to talk about. One of them sitting right by you here, Ray. This is, of course, our new GP40, which is expected to come out later on this year. This is similar to our Dash 9 that came out previously. This is going to be something that you can use your own system on, whether you use DCC, DC, RC. And Ray, if you want to take us through some of the features here, show us what we got.
Well, here's our non-proprietary plug-and-play board. It's right here underneath the dynamic brakes, and it has all the features. So on here we have lights on, smoke on, we have it on battery power, we have it set up for NMRA forward or reverse. It doesn't really apply with the Rail Pro, and we have the motor on. So we'll put this here, and then I'll show you the Rail Pro. There we go. On the Rail Pro we hit locomotives. Here's the UP. We will start the engine. Release the brakes. Coupler clank. And now Tyler, if you want to go to the front, we have the headlight, number board, the cab, the safety lights, the backup lights. And if we go to this page, we have smoke, which will turn on. Probably take a little time to get going.
And just to explain, for those of you who are not familiar with these large-scale locomotives, the sound package you're hearing is part of the RC installation, the rail trail. That's an aftermarket product. As Ray mentioned, this is a non-proprietary board in this locomotive, so you can install any aftermarket RC or DCC system you like. The lighting functions I just demonstrated for you are pre-programmed into the lighting board on this locomotive. So out of the box, it's going to be designed to run off of track power, but with that non-proprietary board, you've got plenty of control options.
And of course, running behind the locomotive here, we have a couple of our new cars we're going to be talking about in a little bit as well.
Coming around the bend here, is the water tower and the hand-car shed.
All right, so we're going to leave the train to run around the railroad here for a little bit. While we do that, I'm going to take you through some more of our new large-scale products that we're coming out with in 2024. So first along the line here, we have the Bethlehem Steel Hopper. This is coming in CSX, Norfolk Southern, Pennsylvania Power and Light, and Union Pacific colors. This is the CSX version. We're doing the full logo version here, which is a very popular scheme. These cars are shipping now. These are expected to, I believe they just hit our warehouse, so they should be shipping to retailers right about now. Really nice cars. We also have some new additions to our Evans boxcar range. This is the Tropicana car. Now, the original run that we came out with had end-of-train devices. Of course, you can't run a full train with cars with end-of-train devices. So what we have are some additional cars here. We're offering the same schemes that we offered with the end-of-train device, but we're doing different road numbers so you can expand your train with those cars. And we're also offering these Tropicana cars, which is a brand new scheme for the line. And it's just a very cool scheme. A train that you could see running from Florida to New York daily, and these cars would make it further across the country as well. Also in stock right now, we have our closed streetcar. This is another really beautiful model. It's got really fantastic details on it. We've got you've got the operator's controls here. You've got working sliding doors here. If I can just demonstrate that here. There we go. You've got an interior the hanging straps for your passengers, and you've got a posable trolley pole as well. It's not a functional trolley pole. This will work through track power, but it is posable, and it looks pretty good. Now we also have our football egg liner here. This is the new addition to our popular egg liner range. Now, we've had some people ask us, how has it taken you this long to come up with a football? It's the perfect shape for it. Well, I can't answer that question, but we have one now, and if you're a fan of our egg liner range, this is pretty much a must-have for your collection. We also have two additional GP40s here. So we're coming out with 4 paint schemes initially, but we have three samples here. This is our CSX version and the boxcar scheme. Really nice locomotive, really nice paint scheme. You can see you've got the separate chain here that goes across, and you've got a lot of really nice separately applied details like that. You've got the painted engineer in the cab here, and we got the train coming, so I'm going to just switch to that camera quickly. And you've also got some really nice lighting features like cab interior lighting. You've got the light and number boards. You've got marker lights here that actually work directionally, so they're red when you're running in reverse, and they're white when you're running in the forward direction. We also have the Norfolk Southern scheme. Really sharp scheme, and actually another cool feature that I want to show you while it's up close here, the painted cab instruments as well. So we also have a few more large-scale items that are coming this year that we don't have samples of right now. But Tyler, you want to tell us a little bit about I believe they're speeders that are coming out, right?
Yes, we have 2 speeders. Matt, I'm not sure if you have the catalog available, but they are a New York Central speeder in the classic Century Green, and a new Christmas speeder, the North Pole and Southern Elf Express. It's like a little workshop shuttle. Instead of the 2 workmen that our speeders normally have, it's got 2 little Christmas elves in there. We'll get pictures of those for you folks pretty soon, or you can check them out in our catalog at bachmanntrains.com. And we also have, in addition to the 2 existing 129 scale freight cars that Matt just showed off for you folks, we've got our 129 scale single dome tank car, which will be coming out later this year. We announced that last year at the NMRA show, and they weren't able to arrive in time for this New Model Monday Live, but we should have photographs of those for you very soon. So stay tuned to our social media for that.
I'm looking forward to seeing those. Yeah, and in terms of delivery dates for these, as always, we can't give a specific date, but for the things that are arriving later this year, the one thing we can say is they are coming this year. They are coming in 2024. So everything here that's not shipping right now will be coming out this year. And if we look in the background here, I'm going to just move it to the other camera. We've got the train coming around again here with the going on the back of the layout, actually.
Yeah, on the High Line.
On the High Line, yes. This is a very cool layout. The owner has very graciously got it ready and working for the season. A little earlier than usual, so we were able to film the trains running on it. Yeah, it's GP40 is an awesome locomotive. It'll make a great complement to your Dash 9 if you already have one, or if you're just starting your large-scale modern 129 scale collection. It's a great locomotive to start out with. So we're very excited to bring those to market. So that's about it for products right now. Tyler, what do you think? Should we do a little bit of a Q&A?
I think so. I think we're ready for the Q&A.
All right. So while this is a large scale special, Q&A doesn't have to be about large scale. It can be about anything in our line, and we'll do our best to answer you as best we can. So I'm seeing one question here. This is any updates on Thomas and friend Stanley? Stanley was announced at our NMRA announcements last year. I can say we should have an update on him pretty soon. We've been in the development and the design stage, and yeah, look for an exciting update in the very near future on that.
Got a question here about the when do we get to see the 19th century N scale 460? Was asked about that, I think, on last month's live stream or the month before. Sorry to say, especially as an N scale guy myself, we don't have any updates yet on the 19th century 460, but we'll hopefully be able to get to show you something in the future. It is in active development.
Yeah.
We have a question also. Do the GP40s come with the cab sunshades? Yes, they do. We don't have them installed on any of our sample models here. They're just a little bit fragile, and we've been moving these models around between trade shows and doing some testing on them, so we left them uninstalled. But they will come in the box, separately packaged for your installation when you purchase them.
Just scrolling through our questions here.
Did you? We want to talk about? There's somebody asking about the price.
Yeah, I mean the price of these is our MSRP. Our MSRP for these is available in our catalog and on our website. I believe most of these are up on our website right now. But as always, we always recommend checking with your retailer because you may find it a different price at your retailer that might suit your budget a little more. Sounds like we might have a derailment back there.
Yes, on the ground a little bit there.
Yeah.
We do have a question. How come there are no ditch lights on the Jeeps? When these were originally designed, they were designed to represent these locomotives more or less in their as-built state. 1960s for the 1970s. Ditch lights did not exist yet and were not mandatory on North American railroads. So that was the reason the model does not have them.
Mm-hmm. I've got a question here. How often do you guys do the releases of old locomotives like the 482 Mountain and the B&O EM 14882 in HO scale? For any locomotives that have been in our line in the past, they may make a return at some point, but there's no specific time. It really depends on whether we feel there's a market demand for it at the time. But for any locomotives that have been in our line before, or any rolling stock or anything that we've made in the past, send us an email at info@bachmanntrains.com and let us know that you want to see it again, and we'll certainly factor that into our decisions for if and when we bring something back to our line. We've got a question here. On the Evans boxcars, do the axles ride on brass bushings or have they been upgraded to ball bearings?
That is a good question. Let me take a peek at this guy.
And this might be a question Ray might know that as well. Do we know if these are on brass bearings?
We do not.
Okay.
These look like brass to me. I'm sorry I don't have a solid answer for you. I'm looking at them at the sample at the moment, and it does appear to have brass bearings on it. These are upgraded from the previous by Aristocraft in that they come standard with metal wheels instead of plastic wheels.
Mm-hmm. And they are wonderfully smooth rolling cars.
Absolutely.
I've got a question here. An ETA for Bo from the Thomas and Friends line. Bo is, I believe he's on the water now. Don't quote me on that, but I believe he's on the water. So he should be shipping within the next few months, if not sooner. Got a question about multiple road numbers for the GP40. Right now we're just doing one road number. This is our first run of these locomotives. We'll see how they do, and there's always a possibility that they could return with more road numbers in the future.
Yes. We did do that previously with the Dash 9. When they were initially announced, they had one road number each. The demand was there for two road numbers on the Dash 9, so we went ahead and added those in the future catalog after the initial announcement. GP40s, we're not quite seeing that there yet, but that's not to say that we won't add more road numbers in the second run.
Absolutely. Let's see. let's see. Are you planning on making any more road names for the like SP for the GPs and the -9? We don't have any plans right now, but again, if we come out with a second run at some point, it's certainly not impossible. We've also got a question about a ETA for Rebecca from the Thomas and Friends line. Rebecca is, we actually do have, as you may have seen teased on our Facebook page, we do have a first painted sample, so we're not quite at the distribution phase yet. But if you join us for our next Thomas Tuesday live stream with Train World on their social media channels, we will be debuting the first painted sample for everyone to see it. So definitely make sure to check that out. Got a question. Are there new Bachmann Chattanooga train sets? The Chattanooga is something that is pretty much consistently staying in our line.
Yes, I'm checking at the moment to see, because I haven't checked recently if they are currently in stock or not. I believe they are. So let me double check real quick on our web store. Let's see. Yes, we do currently have the Chattanooga set in stock. It is item number 00626. So you can check with your local retailer to see if they have one in stock, and if not, ask them to order one for Bachmann, and we can get that on your way to you if you're interested.
I have a question here. Will the GP40s come with the adapter board with the wire leads to make it easier to wire into different control systems? Ray, do you want to explain a little bit about the non-proprietary board that's on board?
The non-proprietary board was developed back in Aristocraft days, and we were on the bandwagon with them, and we have upgraded it. In fact, this GP40 that's running was the first powered sample, and it went first to Stan Ames, and he made sure that all the wiring was correct for what we wanted to do. He in turn sent it to Don Sweet at New England RCS, and it was Don who put in the Rail Pro. And so this one has sort of been around the block, which is why it may look a little scuffed up in places. And then we had it on display on rollers at the Northeast Show. But you could see it runs really well, and there are no issues because of the work of Stan and Don. And yes. So we'd like to thank them too.
Yes,
absolutely.
And I believe to answer the question about the adapter board, I believe that will come installed standard.
Mm-hmm. We also have just a follow-up question about the Chattanooga train set. Does it come with a 282? I believe the Chattanooga comes with it. Does it come with a 262?
It is a USRA 060.
It's 060, okay. Okay, so yeah, standard USRA 060, which is a very neat little locomotive. So unless we have any more questions, we could do another walk around of the layout if you guys want to see some more of the GP40 in action along here. It's been running pretty nicely in the background, but Tyler, you want to
yeah, absolutely.
bring it back on the main screen here?
Yeah, let me get up and.
Also, I'd like to mention that a week ago today, the layout was totally overgrown with weeds, all manner of washouts, no buildings, and in a week of hard work, we got it weeded, reballasted, fixed the buildings. We finished as Matt and Tyler got here today, and so I'm surprised there haven't been more derailments actually, but it's running well. And of course, with Rail Pro, it's dead rail. So the one thing we didn't have to do, praise the Lord, was clean the track. I'm well beyond the cleaning the track stage of my life.
See, that's one thing where a smaller scale guy like me is a little jealous of your system here, because this is it certainly cuts out a very time-consuming, very tedious task.
Don does install Rail Pro in HO and ON30.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
As we're coming through the yard here, you've got the track off to the side. There is the lead that goes into the storage shed where the locomotives are kept we're coming back around to the front of the layout here. This is this a dye works that we're passing here?
Yeah, there was a big dye works up in Sloatsburg, New York that looked absolutely nothing like this one. And it burned down in the 50s. It was the biggest fire in the county's history.
Wow.
However, I used a number of Pico brewery components to build that. I like the way it came out. And it sort of tells a story, even if it's a fictional story.
And over here you have your really nice bridge here. The water feature, which is currently turned off to aid in our audio here. But usually there is a wonderful waterfall that goes down behind there. The train loops around the back. And is there a name for this town that the train comes through?
Well, it says Suffern because that's in the area. But when we're running standard gauge, the railroad's called Central New England. When we're running narrow gauge, it's called Sterling Mountain and Hudson. I have trains of all scales. My problem is I never met a train I didn't like. But I have all scales, but I won't mix scales. So
I'm going to climb up here real quick and give you guys a closer look at some of Ray's scratch-built structures back here. These are really cool.
I know we had one comment on our Facebook preview of this that asking if we have structures coming to the line in large scale right now. No, unfortunately, these are not coming to our line because they are all scratch built by Ray. He's a very talented guy, and he's made some really, really nice buildings for his railroad. We do have one question here I do want to answer, just an ETA for the new G-scale tank cars. So like Tyler said earlier, we are expecting our first samples of these cars pretty soon, so look for any update on that on our social media, probably in the coming days. But yeah, in terms of release, we're probably still a few months out for that, but we're still looking at a 2024 release at this point. And this building here, I believe this is one that Ray, you just scratch built this one this year, right?
Oh yeah, I finished it pretty much right after the show. This one will be an article in this year's Garden Trains Annual. And the creamery and the ice house were in last year's annual. So the measurements will be in those articles. The interesting thing about the ice house is it was built out of cement board that we use in showers. And it survived the year very well, I'm happy to say. The creamery was built with material I got from a sign making store, and that too survived. The coal silos are a mixture. The silos themselves are PVC pipe, and the upper part is built of the sign making material and clapboard siding, which held up well on the creamery last year. And there's the yard office in the coal yard is a Pico building, as is the chain link fence. Now the buildings in front are just bashed. It's a Pico water tower, some Pola buildings, a Bachmann refrigerator car. The switch tower was made by a fellow, I think in Georgia or Florida some years ago. I don't believe they are still available. And the other things are a mixture of readily available things, the little Watchman towers where the grade crossings will eventually be, are straight Aristo models. The house with nobody in it down there is a Pico model.
Now that's a great story. Actually, Tyler, if you can show us the abandoned house down there. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, during the early 1900s, there was a local poet called Joyce Kilmer, best known for his poem Trees. Pardon me, swallowed a bug. I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree. Most people know that. But he also did, whenever I walk to Suffern along the Erie tracks, I go by a lonesome farmhouse with the shingles broken and black. I suppose I've passed it 100 times, but I always stop for a minute and look at the house, the tragic house, the house with nobody in it. And it goes on, but I really like that poem. And so I did the building, and that was in another Garden Trains annual as well. So there are a lot of fun things that you can do that are not difficult, but make your layout a little different than everyone else's. And that's the fun of it for me.
Absolutely, yeah. I do have a question here about the about our wheels. Now, somebody's asking if we're using the standard Bachmann wheels for the 129 scale rolling stock, or if we're using different ones. Now, are they?
I believe they're the Arista wheels.
They're the Aristocrat. They're the 129 scale wheels that would have come on the Aristo versions.
Except they're metal, not plastic.
And they're metal. Yep.
And the bearings work.
Yep. There you go. All right. Well, if there's any more questions, now would be the time to ask. Otherwise, we're going to start wrapping up the show. As always, it's always fun getting on with you guys and talking about all our upcoming products. It's been great bringing you guys out here to this fantastic layout and giving you a chance to take a look at this great example of what you can do in garden railroading. I think we're gonna probably wrap it up here unless there's anything else you want to add.
No, just it's great to get out of the office, enjoy the great outdoors. Now that the weather has gotten a little bit nicer up here in the Northeast, so it's great to be here and show off these large scale items, which are you really need to see outdoors on a beautiful garden rail like this to really appreciate them.
Absolutely. I do have one more question here. Anything new coming in logging? There's nothing we can speak of right now. I mean, we have a few things that are. There's no scale specified. We do have a few HO scale. We have HO scale logging. Log cars. We have various logging items throughout our scales. We don't have anything new to speak of right now. But we've made plenty of logging railroad equipment in the past, and there's always a chance something might come in the future.
Absolutely.
All right, so with that, I think we're going to leave you with one more shot of the layout with the train passing by here, and we're going to call it a day. Thanks for stopping by with us.
See you.